Tigers baseball is presented by Figer Law. You'll be home just for 3. Don't blink. You're going to miss it before the Tigers head on the road. They love playing here at Comerica Park. Tigers starting pitcher tonight, Cater Montero, presented by Wallside Windows. Dan, we have loved watching this guy pitch, especially the last 2 starts.
Yeah, Cater has really shown something this year. I've loved his fastball, but we've got an example here about how well the fastball set up all of his other pitches. And it all starts with that 4-seam fastball that he's throwing 94, 95, just a nice pitch that's taken a lot of people by surprise. The sinker, which has that good sink and horizontal movement. That changeup is really thrown well off those 2 fastballs. The slider, which, Dan, you love, I do too, and then he mixes in that curveball.
I mean,
but when you put all 5 of these together, these hitters, they don't know what direction this baseball's going in. I mean, here it comes. All right, I see it. Now I have to choose what pitch is it, what speed, and where's it going, inside or outside. That's what they're dealing with. So that was an example of the 5 pitches, but now sped up a little bit about them going left, they're going right, and they're going straight down. That's what you're dealing with Cater Montero.
What a great look, and the reason why he gets a lot of called third strikes to support his strikeout rate. Well, the Brewers every year, they're one of the best teams in the National League, not named the Dodgers. And the threats in this lineup, and you can see it represented right there by OPS. The top 5 hitters are the threats. They are missing 2 big bats, and it has made a difference. Jackson Chourio is not here, and Christian Yelich is not here as well. They're both on the injured list. Chourio has not had an at-bat. Yelich was off to a good start. 2 big bats they're missing. They've been averaging 5 runs a game cold lately. First pitch of the game is outside, and we are underway here at Comerica Park. So glad to have you along for the first of a 3-game series for the Milwaukee Brewers before the Tigers head back on the road. Tigers facing a lot of National League teams to start. Knuckle curve. Wow. That looked like a perfect pitch.
I agree.
A little bit low to Bryce Terang. This Brewers team is going to make you come into the strike zone. Montero's always been a pretty good strike thrower, Dan. The strike throwing is a little bit better in terms of first pitch strikes this year. He doesn't get a lot of swing and miss, but it's really going to be at a premium. He's been outstanding the last 2 starts with the strike throwing. It's been even better, but he's going to have to be that again tonight. Sinker gets a called strike too, because this team is drawing a ton of walks.
Yeah, they are. They're stealing a lot of bags, so you don't want to give them into those free passes. But that's always been the big thing for Cater, is the strike throwing. First pitch strikes has been really good, but he's only walked 2 in 16 2/3 innings. So he's filling up that strike zone with all his pitches.
Grounded softly to second base. Another thing to watch. Gleyber Torres fields and flips for the first out. Tigers starting defense is brought to you by Marygrove Awnings. Hyu Lee, another game at third base. Kevin McGonigal at short. He's been terrific there. It's a good infield defense. Riley Green, Javi Baez, Matt Vierling from left to right. It's a pretty breezy day. The breeze has died off a little bit here at Comerica Park, but we'll watch, because when you get a breeze like this, a steady 15 to 20 blowing right to left, you can definitely play into this game. Sinker a little bit low. Dan, talk about the increased use of the fastball and why it is so important for Cater Montero.
Yeah, I think it's both of them, the 4-seam and the sinker, but it's the confidence in which he's throwing them. But it's all about getting ahead. And there's a perfect example to 2 of them right there. I mean, and he did with Bryce Terang. He wasn't afraid to fall behind 2-0 and then have to come in with those fastballs. But it's just, he now knows, I believe, that he belongs, and that's why, and those fastballs are really good.
Chops softly to third. Lee's going to have to hurry. Throws on the run. Nicely done. They like his defense. He's got a great first step, and he made a fine play. Knew that Contreras was running, and he didn't have to rush him.
Yeah, still a very comfortable looking play, though, and he does a nice job of throwing the ball on the run up towards second base to take the tailing action, so it comes down to Spencer Torkelson and doesn't throw up the line that rips the arm off the first baseman.
Jake Bauers getting a few more at bats with the injuries to Chourio and Yelich. So he's in the number 3 spot. This is not normally where you're going to see Jake Bauers. We've seen him in a Cleveland uniform, a Yankee uniform. This is his 3rd year with Milwaukee. It's a Milwaukee team that, again, gets on base, hits for average. The power numbers, especially to start this year, are down significantly. So, again, they're going to beat you with singles, doubles, walks, and as Dan said, they're going to run on anybody. Even, I think, Dylan Dingley. Sinker down and in. That walk rate, I mean, the walk rate's up, but that walk rate for Milwaukee is up almost 50%. League-wide, it's about 20 from last year. Shot into right field. Bauers reaches with 2 outs here in the first. The other thing about that fastball, Dan, the command of it, it feels like, as we saw those 2 pitches perfectly located in the at-bat against Turang and then Contreras, it feels like he's really precise with his location, more so than last year with the fastball.
Yeah, it's not. We always talked about throwing a lot of strikes, and it was the quality, not the quantity.
Yeah.
You still have to throw a lot of strikes, but you got to make good pitches.
Sinker for a strike. Emil Jimenez is our home plate umpire today.
And there's a good example. He falls behind 3-0 to Jake Bauers and comes right in with a fastball right down the middle of the plate. Okay, it's a single, instead of, could have went right at somebody instead of a walk.
Knuckle curve bounces. Gary Sanchez just keeps showing up every year. Seems like he's been around forever. He's still only 33, off to a great start. They signed him for pennies on the dollar in the offseason. He's hit 5 home runs and 42 at-bats. And he's already walked 13 times. I like that changeup, Dan. That's a straight change.
And how about right on right? But look at the horizontal movement to it. That comes out of the hand. It's looking really nice. But the sink and the run, and you pair that again with those 2 fastballs, those 3 pitches alone are good.
Fastball up and away. Great job by Dylan Dingler to try to make that a strike. Couldn't change the mind of Emil Jimenez. So Sanchez providing the thump. They definitely miss Yelich and Churio.
And Andrew Vaughn too, right? Is Andrew Vaughn?
Yeah, he's also on the injured list.
Had the big postseason last year.
Chopped up the middle, and that will end the first inning as McGonigal takes care of Sanchez with a force at second base. Tigers bat, bottom of the first. We're scoreless. Logan Reaver was talking over the weekend about this is the kind of teammate Jahmai Jones is. He's got a handshake with every single player on this team. Nobody else has to remember 26 handshakes. Jahmai Jones does. Oh my goodness, I love it. Absolutely
That's
love
why
it.
the team loves him,
Just puts a smile on your face, doesn't it? Heck, just talking to Jahmai Jones puts a smile on your face. We look at the Tigers lineup today, presented by your Southeast Michigan Ford dealers. Swinging a pop-up on the infield. Third baseman Rengifo will battle the wind and make the catch. 1 pitch and 1 out. Take a look at the starting pitcher for the Milwaukee Brewers, Kyle Harrison. This guy intrigues me, Dan. Made a lot of starts in 2024 with the Giants. Traded to Boston last year, but most of last year was in the minor leagues, even though he had decent numbers in 24. And now he's off to a good start. Missed his last start. He was skipped because of a wrist and knee injury that wasn't enough to put him on the IL. But he is notably pitching for the first time in 10 days. This is a good arm.
Yeah, it was a mishap over covering first base, and you don't teach that in spring training, how he got hurt. Create one of those crazy, unfortunate things, but they dodged a bullet because he ended up staying in that game, but they were a little concerned about him going on the IL, and he didn't have to. But he's off to a good start. He throws a mid-90s four-seam fastball, slurve, and change-up. Also mixing in occasional sinker, and the slurve that we're talking about, he's only allowed 1 hit on that slurve this year.
Well, you see mid-90s from the left side with a nice pitch mix, and he can get swing and miss. Let's take a look at how he got hurt 10 days ago.
Yeah, first play of the game. got to go over and cover. And Gary Sanchez, who you talked about, fired a bullet right down into his knee. And then he braces himself with his left hand. Look at that elbow kind of, oh boy. And then he gets up off the ground, pushes himself back up, but again stayed in for 4 1/3 innings. But yeah, they dodged a big-time bullet there.
You see throws like that. Torres takes a pitch low, and you're reminded of what Gabe Alvarez said in spring training a year or so ago, that Spencer Torkelson's one of the very best at throwing, making that throw to pitchers. And you think, well, that's okay. But no, that's an important skill. And you see scuds like that. Oh, man. Slurve down and in, hits Torres. And you realize, yeah, that is an important skill. That was an awful throw that almost put Harrison on the IL. Take a look at the slurve that just hit Glaber. Digging. Oh.
Not a whole lot of padding on that foot either. It looked like it hit him right on top of that foot on the toe. Oh, boy.
Brings up Kevin McGonigal. You do not want to leave your seat when this guy steps to the plate. Do not miss one of his at-bats. Swinging a foul to the screen. Kevin McGonigal, just the consistency. And we talked about it really right from the start of this year, Dan, that, yeah, he's going to have his ups and downs like any other player. Not just a rookie, but any other player. But we feel like, given what we've seen, the downtimes are going to be brief. And that certainly has played out through his 21 starts. Ball loose, and Gleyber Torres heads down to second. Ball got away from Contreras. He's pretty good behind the plate. Couldn't keep that one near home plate. 1-1 on McGonigal, and the Tigers have a runner in scoring position.
Yeah, it looked like it just popped out of his glove. That slurve after getting ahead.
Yeah, that's a pass ball.
Yeah, just clanked right off the glove. Get that padding, and Gleyber Torres just being nice and alert, so that toe or that right foot certainly not giving him any trouble now.
Sweeping breaking ball away.
But it's just how he takes them. You know, it's not an uncomfortable take. It's just, okay, yeah, this is, I got to stay in there and make sure I don't give an inch, and just spits all over it.
The 2-1. Fastball strike, just got the outside edge. Dan, in 21 starts, he's had one game. One. Where he didn't reach with a hit or a walk. 1 0 for 4 with no hits and no walks. That's it. That's the extent of his slump so far. Swinging a pop-up foul and out of play.
And I remember that game, but I don't recall exactly what the at-bats were. You know,
probably hit 2 balls hard.
That's what I'm thinking. You know, there might have been some strikeouts or something like that. But yeah, occasionally you're going to have a game like that. But you know that they're not going to, because just how consistently it's the ball hard.
Line drive, caught at first base. Bowers looked to second. Torres got back. 2 outs, man in scoring position. We take a look at the defense for the Brewers. You got the Gold Glovers, Terang and Sal Frelick at right field. Mitchell's really good in center field. Hamilton's best at second base, but you're going to like him at shortstop as well. Rengifo, Bowers at the corners on the infield, below average. One thing Milwaukee does, think Cleveland in terms of a mid-market team or a smaller market team that wins every year because of one thing that they do extremely well year after year: run prevention.
And that guy.
Pat Murphy, manager of the Brewers, soft little tap foul, but every year, Dan, they're holding opponents for the last 5 years to under 650 runs.
That's going to keep
That's
you,
a really low number.
Keep you into the game constantly.
Add a little offense, and they had that last year. 97 wins, but every year it's 97, it's 93, 89. 1-1 is off the plate and in. So if the Milwaukee Brewers want you, and they traded for Harrison in the offseason, it's kind of like Tampa or the Dodgers, where those teams are developing really good reputations for doing good things with pitchers. And I would put the Tigers in that category. There's a reason. Fly ball to right. Deep, but not deep enough. Frelick will make the catch. And the Tigers get a runner in scoring position, but no more. Sam best call. We look at Cater Montero's number when an at-bat starts 0-1 and 1-0. And this is fairly typical league-wide. You're going to have about 200-point difference in OPS when it starts 0-1 versus 1-0. But it's a great reminder of why the Tigers emphasize strike ones like that. They have been the best in the league at throwing strike one the last 3 years. Either 1-2 with Seattle or last year the clear leader. A bit of a rough start with a smaller strike zone this year, but Dan, on the homestand, last time when they went 6-0, much better strike throwing.
Yeah, and with Cater, though, that's what I believe now. You're seeing him go after him with the fastball and landing strike one. Much tougher to throw a breaking ball constantly for that strike. I mean, there's more break to it, and the hitters might lay off of it, and you got to make a perfect pitch. So now he's saying, you know what, I can throw fastballs, and I've got a good one, either the four-seam or the sinker, and I've got a better chance of landing it for a strike.
Swinging a foul straight back. I know the changeup was good last year. I feel like it's better this year.
Yes.
It looks terrific.
Yes. And I don't know if because, you know, I talked to him, you talked to him about the slider.
Yeah.
I talked to him about his fastballs and that changeup, just because I just feels like it pairs so well off of both fastballs.
The 1-2. Ground ball up the middle, and that's where Kevin McGonigal is. Easy toss to Torque. Wow.
Uh-oh.
Garrett Mitchell immediately says, hey, check, please. That was bang, bang at the base, and I actually thought he beat it.
I thought it was live, and Pat Murphy's going to challenge.
This is a team full of guys with wheels. He did beat it.
Yeah.
This won't take long. The first look. Yeah. One look, and they'll be able to overturn that. But if you got...
Boy, watch Cater. Cater almost catches that ball behind his back. But look at Mitchell also. He's not watching the ball. Watch him. Whoop. Didn't go into his glove. And then Mitchell's not looking at the ball, looking at Kevin McGonigal. He's got his head focused right at first base, going right down that line, which is going to give him that added extra bit.
After review, call the field is overturned, the runner is safe. Milwaukee retains our challenge.
That's Mike Malinsky, the crew chief. I mean, that was just, he wasn't, it didn't look like he was running fast. That's a sprinter's stride right there.
And then he hit the front of the bag, too. A lot of things he did correct on that one.
Slider away. Let's go down to Johnny Kane.
Well, we keep an eye on Garrett Mitchell here. He's got 4 stolen bases on the year, and the Brewers guys lead all the baseball by a wide margin. 33 stolen bags through 21 games. You know, and talking with A.J. Hinch, he says, look, we've got an enhanced awareness of how Milwaukee likes to play. They're going to play an aggressive brand. They've got the athletes to do it. They put pressure on you. But he says, I think it's exciting to challenge yourself against a team like Milwaukee that strives on applying pressure. And, of course, the other challenge is you only face this team once a year. But keep your eye on it, because nearly every player on the roster has a stolen base attempt through 21 games.
Which is kind of amazing. They've also got 3 guys, StatCast tracks everything right, but when you see 29 feet per second sprint speed, that catches your eye. They've got 3 of those guys. Hamilton, Lockridge, Mitchell. And that's a routine ground ball. That's what sprint speed does for you.
And the other thing, Dan, you and I were talking about during the game is Cater does a nice job of stopping the running game, but you want him focusing on the hitter. You pay attention and say, you know what, I'll give Dylan a good shot, but Dylan's good at throwing people out. So get that hitter. Remember, that hitter is the guy that's going to do the damage.
Because that's one of the things that happens, right? You get so worried about that guy over at first.
I got to change my mechanics. I got to hurry up. I got to vary my looks to first base, the time that I deliver the pitch.
Short, cautious lead for Mitchell. Swing and miss fastball up. Luis Rengifo had a couple of really nice years for the Angels back-to-back, 23 and 24, and then everything came apart last year, and he's struggling to start this year. There goes Mitchell, and it's ball 4.
No, there it's just falling behind and coming back, and then that 3-2 slider we were talking about, just it's hard. It's hard to land those breaking pitches, and that's why that fastball is so important. Getting ahead with those fastballs and then putting them away should you want to throw those breaking balls.
That's the last guy you want to walk with the struggles of Rengifo, and he's a guy who doesn't draw many walks, and that's, I think, a perfect example of what you're talking about, being distracted by that runner at first.
Yep. And knowing that he's probably going 3-2, which he was. Here's a good example of second inning, and Frelick is already squaring around to bunt.
Perfect sync. 1-1 on Frelick. Nice year last year. 280, extra base, occasional home run power. Another guy can steal the base. Everybody can, as Johnny said. Off to a tough start this year. This is a very pitchable bottom part of the order tonight. Frelick, though, has the hitter's count.
And Frelick was 2 for 3 off of Cater in that start that he got in Milwaukee last year. He also did hit a home run. So Cater remembers all that. Pitchers always remember those.
Fastball up, and it's 3-1. So lots of great strike throwing. As soon as there's a base runner, he goes to a 3-ball count on each of the next 2 batters for the first time tonight. Cater doesn't get a lot of ground ball outs. This is a team, though, that leads the National League in putting the ball on the ground. See if he can get Frelick to get something on the ground. There's another guy who runs well, though.
How about Frelick? I mean, he had no intention of bunting that ball. It was just more or less to distract Cater and try to get him to throw ball 4.
3-2, ground ball, base hit into right field. They're going to wave Mitchell home. Up with the ball, Vierling throw is cut off, rightly so by Torkelson. And that will hold Rengifo at second base. Got it on the ground, but for the Brewers in the right spot, and they take the 1-0 lead.
Yeah, Frelick again knows that he probably's not going to strike out. He's confident that he's going to make contact, and this is what the Brewers do. They hit the ball on the ground, but he's faking a bunt 3-1 to get another pitch, possibly to, get a walk. But he says, I'm not going to strike out. He gets that fastball, hits it on the ground, finds a hole, and the Brewers get the first run.
Prompts the early visit from Chris Fetter. Montero's facing another high contact team. Kansas City's right up there in best contact rate in the American League last year, and this doesn't always equate to a good offense, as we talked about the other day. There have to be some other elements that go along with it, like being able to drive the ball. Milwaukee put it all together last year. They were the best contact team in the National League, and they're still right there this year in the top part of the league in contact rate. And when you pair that with plate discipline and a little bit of power, which they haven't shown yet but have, that becomes a really dangerous lineup.
You bet. And you mentioned the 3 names. There's a lot of power in those 3 names that they have on the IL.
Bunt down the third baseline. Better hurry. A little bobble. That cost him. I don't think he would have gotten him anyway. Bunt single for Hamilton. He's another one of those speed guys. And it's bases loaded, and this is Brewers baseball. Started with a routine ground ball to short. Kevin McGonigal saw just how fast is.
Listen to that sound. That's deadening the ball. He's got it real loose in his hand. It doesn't have that click to it. It's got that real kind of soft click to it, meaning that he deadened it perfectly.
Yeah, the bat might not even have been in his hands when the ball hit the bat.
It's cushioned so well. That's why it made that really different soft sound.
Blake Perkins at the plate, and this becomes a big early moment for Cater Montero.
Let's watch his hands. Yep. Just pinching the barrel of the bat, and then it just hits the bat and it recoils. He just accepts it, and has it pinched with his index and thumb on his left hand.
Perkins takes a pitch up and away. He's off to a 4 for 32 start. Cater Montero's having a tough time attacking the bottom part of the order, which again really having a tough time collectively, not hitting for average or power. Could use a strikeout here again. He's not getting a lot of swing and miss. An 18-footer, a 17-footer, and a 7-footer.
That's what they do, though. Drive you crazy.
There's a good slider down and in. It's a pitch that he hasn't thrown a lot to lefties, but Dan, when he throws it like that, it's a better improved slider with bigger break.
And it's always important to get ahead, though. And when you show those fastballs, that comes out of the hand looking like a fastball, but you've got 2 strikes on you, and you've got to make up your mind early to protect against that fastball, and you got to make up your mind early to swing, and that's what happened right there, and he swung over the top.
Now the challenge, soft, broken bat line drive into right will score 1 and may score 2. Frelick around third coming home, cut up by Torkelson. They're going to get the batter runner Terang in a run down, and now Torres will throw home, and they will get Hamilton trying to score. Well played by the Tigers. The cut up by Torkelson started that to get the second out.
Boy, that's just that fundamental too, and they're just taking a chance that they're going to say, you know what, we want to make sure that that run scores, but to make sure that communication is there to Gleyber Torres, that he can listen to his infielders and say he's going, 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 so he can flip around and make that good strong throw to Dylan Dingler.
That's great communication, isn't it, for Torres? He's looking towards second base.
To run that runner back, yeah.
And
he's
somebody's
not
yelling,
attention.
yelling.
Yep.
That's 2 runs for the Brewers on the busted bat. Sinker away. So let's look at the contact in this inning. Hard contact it has not been. My goodness. One-0. High in the air to right center, deep. On the run, Javi Baez tracking it. He'll make a fine running catch. Difficult part of the ballpark to make a catch. Contreras hit it hard. Montero finally gets out of the second. Time for StatCast 3D, powered by Google Cloud. We take a look at Dylan Dingler hitting lefties and hitting the fastball from lefties, Dan.
You know what? I'm impressed. He seems to be hitting everybody. And he took Garrett Crochet deep at Fenway Park to dead center. And Sandy Alcantara, he also took deep. I mean, that's 2 pretty good names to have in your book. So Dylan Dingler, we know he's a Gold Glove catcher, but certainly getting it done at the plate.
Fouls it out of play. And now it's time for Chevy's strongest player, Dylan Dingler. Look at that. WRC plus. I think the numbers, if you like OPS better, OPS plus, those numbers are always very similar. It's just a really good way to judge who are the best hitters. This is among catchers. Shea Langoliers has turned into a monster, hasn't he?
He has. Yes, he has.
AJ said he feels like whenever he steps to the plate, he's going to hit a home run. And it does feel that way.
That Drake Baldwin in Atlanta too. That good rookie season. He's gotten off to a good start.
Changeup, did he go? Yes, he did. This is good stuff from Kyle Harrison. That's his first strikeout.
As one of the pitches that you don't normally think about from Harrison is that changeup, but it's sneaky, and if he can get ahead, this thing, when he turns it over, it goes down and away from those lefties and very difficult to hold up.
Fastball high and tight, appeal to third. On the appeal, Dexter Kelly says he went too far. Rodney Green at the plate. Had some really good at-bats in Boston. You rip a single off the 101 mile an hour fastball from Aroldis Chapman. This ABS challenge by Contreras, the catcher, powered by T-Mobile.
Charlie, serve.
We just saw his brother, who was also a catcher, now first baseman in Boston. Wilson Contreras. Home plate umpire Emilio Mendez says, you know what would be great if I had my mask on before you throw the pitch.
I want that hitter to be ready, but I want to have my mask on too.
Umpire has to be alert to the pitcher with his mask on as well. And a base hit into right center. Frelick quickly over to get it. Riley Green's putting together much better at-bats against lefties this year, Dan. He struggled the last couple of years, but especially last year.
Yeah, and look at this, him staying on this slurve. This is just the second hit from Harrison on that slurve, but look, not a whole lot of movement with that swing. Very little step forward. He just stayed right on it, just used his hands and that bat to line that up the middle. Man, that was really well done by Riley.
Spencer Torkelson takes a fastball strike. Andy Dirks was talking over the weekend, Dan, about Fenway can do this to you. Maybe Torque becoming a little pull conscious in Boston. He's never really had much success there, but that he needed to just be able to take some hits to right field, take those pitches away and take them to right field, and then he can do damage on the ones in if they figure he can handle the one away. And we did see his last two at-bats at Boston in Fenway, the ball went to right field. Sometimes it's just a couple of at-bats that can help change things. Slurve in the dirt.
I mean, I think that's a great point. I mean, right-handed hitters just standing in that box, and it just looks like you can reach out and touch it and just say, you know what, I'm just going to kind of start opening up that left shoulder and try to just hit a little pop-up off that left field wall.
You can see the numbers there. Swinging a foul out of play. And remember, the big improvement for him last year was his setup, not a swing, but also that approach. Line drive, big part of the field, over second base, and it just hasn't been there so far this year. But I'm thinking we've seen it before. Taking that ball to right field, that's what you need to do. He did it in his last two at-bats. They were both outs, but he was going that way. Up and away. 3-2.
And that's what Torque has been saying too, is as frustrating as this is, I have to stay with my approach.
Yeah.
And, you know, I can't start pressing or trying to do something different. I've got to trust that what I'm doing, it's the same approach I used last year. It's going to turn for me.
Shot up the middle, and there it is. Fastball away, drills it into center. That's a good at-bat. And man, did he need that.
Yeah, got that fastball down, worked it full, still out over the plate, just misses Harrison's glove. But it was down because Harrison had to come right after him. Harrison loves to throw that four-seam fastball at the top of the strike zone. But because it was a full count, he had to try to throw a strike, and Torque was waiting for it.
And if he tries to pull that ball down, probably a double play ball.
Yeah. Is it out over the plate, right on that outside corner?
Hao-Yu Lee, as we highlighted in the open, terrific at-bats in his third start yesterday in Boston. Upside for Hao-Yu Lee. He's got good bat-to-ball skills. Can hit the ball hard. We saw that yesterday. Numbers dropped when he went from AA to AAA. It's been nothing but injury-shortened at-bats so far during spring training at Toledo this year. Fastball got him. Wow.
Yeah, that's the one that, just talking about Torque, getting that one that's down. You throw those four-seam fastballs at the top of the strike zone. That's the one that Harrison wants to throw. You can see Contreras set up over there 0-2, just trying to get him to throw it right at the top of that strike zone, which Harrison did.
And you've got that low release point, and it's a low arm angle for Harrison. You can get that low vertical approach angle, and it makes 95 play up. And we just saw with Javi Baez, who's been on fastballs this year. Hitters will tell you it's just got that extra hop, especially when you're at 94, 95. Softly to right field. Frelick will take care of Javi Baez. Tigers threaten but do not score. Hey fans, Tigers 2026 season is underway and Tigers been hot lately. Well, if you can't make it out to Comerica Park, stream the game live with a subscription from your new home for Detroit sports, Detroit SportsNet, presented by Bet365. The subscription includes Tigers games all season long, the Red Wings starting in the fall, subject to some national exclusivities. Terms and conditions apply. But seriously, don't miss a minute of the action. Subscribe to the Detroit SportsNet by visiting Tigers.com/Detroit SportsNet. Montero could use a quick third inning. He's got to get the 3, 4, 5 hitters to do it. Changeup sinks a little bit low. They didn't exactly batter him about.
Sure did.
Last inning. Infield single on a routine ground ball because of the speed of Mitchell touched it off. That one was slice foul, and then it was ground ball single after a walk, a bunt single, and a busted bat single. That was the big rally. But again, this is what happens when you make contact. Sometimes you put together innings like that. We've seen it with Cleveland, certainly, in the last few years. This day warmed up beautifully, didn't it? It was chilly this morning.
It was.
Got up to 70 degrees today, downtown Detroit. Power stays alive by just tapping that curveball. And the slider was a very hittable pitch for Montero to lefties last year. Lefties had a big edge, and it was a lot of damage on sliders that obviously were hanging out over the plate nicely on a tee for some lefties. He's been really tough on lefties so far this year. Changeup doesn't get the call. 2-2. And I wonder as he gains more confidence in that slider, whether he's going to start to use it more like we saw against Perkin to get the swing and miss in a 2-strike count. That's routine to center field. Javi Baez takes care of Jake Bauers. Let's go back to that Kansas City start and the slider that we saw.
I think some of these sliders are a little bit different too. I mean, he's got one that is going straight down. There's also one
that's big.
That's a big one, almost looks like his curveball, but some that are smaller. That one was a little bit smaller, so a little bit more like that bullet slider that goes straight down. So he can manipulate that baseball and make a couple pitches out of it.
Sanchez pops it up behind third base. McGonigal tracking it, waving his arms to call everybody off, make the catch. 2 up and 2 down, and now a message from Figer Law.
If you've been injured in a motorcycle crash, make Figer Law your first call. Figer Law. All we do is win.
All we do is win.
Dan, what he was telling us on that slider is that he learned from hanging a slider to Pedro Pajes. Breaking ball strike. And he set his sight lines differently against Kansas City so that he was starting it a little further away so that it would break off the plate. He felt like he was hanging too many. And I thought the Kansas City game, even though it was not a lot of swing and miss, it was impressive. And there you see the horizontal break on the slider this year. But as you described, you can throw it different ways, but when it's got that tilt at 86, 87, and to Perkins it was 87, that's a weapon.
And I will say it again, too, because it's all about getting ahead, and when you disguise it's disguised as a fastball, that slider. And it's that pitch right there, that fastball, that makes that slider even better. I mean, that's just sitting right down the middle, and when you have confidence, and now you can throw it. You're 2-2.
Yep. Curveball hung a little bit. That's still got some pretty good bite.
But it's just to me, it's just those 2 fastballs, and again that changeup. But those 2 fastballs are the ones that make the breaking pitches even better.
This will be the 6th pitch of the at bat. Mitchell reached on a routine ground ball, beat it out to short his first time up. Pops this one up. Will it stay playable? It will. Yu Lee makes the catch. Nice bounce back inning for Keita Montero. Tigers still down 3. Well, if the Tigers score 3 or more in this game, you can visit a participating Arby's location tomorrow. What do you get? You know what you get. It's a free small order of curly fries. They're delicious. Bark in the Park night, it's my favorite. Look at these guys. I'm amazed at how well behaved these dogs are. Look at that little guy 2 rows back. They're just hanging out. They're having a good time. My guys would be, they wouldn't just be hanging out. They'd be causing trouble.
Look at they love it. They're like, what am I here for? What am I watching?
I'd rather go someplace and get some more sniffs in, please. Change up down and in.
I've been several times, and everybody is just, they're so well behaved. The Tigers do a great job up there with all the vendors and taking care of the fans and the dogs. It's a great experience.
He's been a few times, right?
He's been a number of times. Oh, he'll be out. I'm honoring him today in another way. Yeah.
Jones hit it hard, deep, and caught at the top of the fence. Oh man, Perkins played it perfectly. He got back there, hoped he would have a chance. And he did.
Yeah, when Jahmai Jones hits him too, and he hits him so high that wind's blowing out a little bit. Look at his right hand, just right there up against that wall, just feeling for the wall. Where am I? Where am I? He feels that wall and knows where he is. Just sticks that glove up and takes that home run away.
387 foot. Out. I mean, great look.
Yeah.
Home run robbery? Yes.
That right hand, I love that right hand. Just he knows by his cleats being on the warning track, but then feeling with his right hand, he touches that and just knows exactly where he is and then is able to jump up and make that catch.
Torres quickly behind 1 and 2. Lefties actually had the edge against Kyle Harrison in his career. Higher average, a little more power. But he hasn't really shut down hitters in his time in the major leagues. You get a lot of starts fouled out of play with San Francisco in 2024, as we mentioned, and then mostly in the minor leagues last year. He's only had 50 innings of work since the beginning of last year at the major league level. But he's just 24, traded twice in the space of a year. Jam job ground ball to short. Hamilton will easily take care of Gleyber Torres. 2 up, 2 down, third inning. Tigers down 3. We go back to the Jahmai Jones swing. Textbook. Just so calm. Yeah, this will be a home run robbery. And I'll just jump up the 6 inches I need to jump to get it in my glove. Jahmai Jones is stinging the ball with great consistency right now.
You know what, I always remember what the great Jim Leland always told us to look for from a home run hitter is how high they hit the ball. That tells you how much power they have. And that's the thing that I always see from Jahmai Jones is how high he hits the ball. And that just tells you kind of the power that he's got.
The combined distance. That's fair down the right field line. Extra bases for McGonigal. Long run for Freely to get the ball, and McGonigal will go into second base, standing up. Lefty, righty. Kev McGonigal does not care.
He doesn't give an inch in that fastball on the inside part of the plate, and because he's not given an inch, is able to get the barrel to it and hit it right down that first base line. That's the thing. He just recognizes the pitch, but somehow he's got that quick barrel that he can get to that baseball, hit it down the right field line.
Tigers would like to get on the board right here against Kyle Harrison. There certainly is a little theme going. He has thrown a first pitch four-seam fastball to 11 of 12 batters. See if Matt Vierling can get one and jump on it. And he throws the slurve away.
I'm going to say, just you establish that fastball, which Harrison has done, but now the Tigers have started to show that they can hit it. Jahmai Jones did. Kevin McGonigal did.
Matt Vierling happy to be getting some at-bats. Tigers in a stretch, as we mentioned, of 6 lefty starters in 12 games after 0 lefty starters the first 16 games. So how do you keep sharp? It's a lot of work underneath. Traject machine is very helpful. Mimics the movement of pitches of the pitchers you might see that day. Matt Vierling had a lot of good at-bats in Boston. And he's going to walk on 4 pitches. Hottest hitter coming up with 2 men on, representing the potential tying run.
Yeah, this is a good move by Contreras, because that just was a sign right there. And again, this is the first start in 10 days for Kyle Harrison. So, you know, is he fatiguing just a little bit? Contreras goes out there to give him that little bit of a breather after really not coming close to Matt Vierling.
Dylan Dingler last 11 games. He's at 340 with 3 home runs. Just great consistency. Continues to be one of the Tigers' leaders, and just hard contact, consistent hard contact. Hard hit rate remains high. Change up away. So he's changed it up with the last 2 batters. He knew he was getting into a pattern, or at least Contreras was getting him into a pattern.
But he's got to show the Tigers that he can throw a changeup or a slurve over the plate, something other than that fastball.
Had a rip at the high fastball, and again 95 plays up with that low release. Wow. The 1-1 shot. Foul. Slurve hung. He was on it.
I was going to say, he looked like he was on it after that fastball right by him. Let's see if he goes right back to that high fastball again.
Has to, right?
It seems like he's got that good confidence in it.
Hard to lay off that pitch. The 1-2, swinging a foul. That's a good foul right there.
Boy, Contreras, you see him jump up right when Harrison was coming into his motion. Boy, Contreras jumped up to make sure that he gave him as high a target as he could.
Yeah, that wasn't where he wanted it. He wanted it higher.
Higher, exactly.
Again, the 1-2, high and away. So the key, it feels like, Dan, because these aren't strikes. Again, hard to lay off. Hitters will tell you that all the time. But if they can lay off that high fastball.
That's the one. He had to lay off it. He could throw a changeup, but I know he doesn't have confidence in it. Well, he does.
Got Dingler for the second time on the changeup. And for the second time this game, the Tigers have stranded 2. Still down 3 after 3. Brewers take a 3-0 lead at the top of the 4th inning. They played Brewer ball in the 2nd inning to scratch out their 3 runs. I love that graphic. Jahmai Jones, 387 foot out on the home run robbery. 250 feet on the 4 hits combined total in the Brewers' 3 runs second. Big hit was a shattered bat. Soft line drive single to right off the bat of Bryce Terang. Nice bounce back inning, Dan, by Cater Montero last inning. Long 2nd inning, backdoor slider for a called strike. But to go through the 3, 4, 5 hitters, That was big.
It was, and I think that they just tell him, hey, look, you're making good pitches. They're not hitting you very hard. Just stay there.
On the appeal, Dexter Kelly says did not go.
That's all they get. That's all. That's the only thing you can say. That's over with. So
Yep.
That's it. Leave them right there.
High in the air to right, not deep. Matt Vierling takes care of Luis Rengifo. And now a message from your Southeast Michigan Ford dealers.
AZ Pine customers who trade in their current vehicle can lease an F-150 XLT for only $349 a month for 36 months. Only at your Southeast Michigan Ford dealers.
Strike throwing was a little bit off once the Brewers had a base runner in the second inning. Now Kader Montero's back to throwing strikes. Sal Frelick takes ball one. At any given moment, we have seen, as Dan detailed earlier, the 4+ pitches from Kader Montero. Change-up fastball combination. As you said, with two types of fastballs, that combination can work. Get him through big stretches of the game. Fouled out of play.
Yeah, and it's not like it's 97, 98. You know, it's very comfortably at 93, 94. But it's where he's putting them and just how he's changing them from four seam to sinker.
Slider bounces. A little more swing and miss in the Brewer lineup this year, but it's a lot of tough outs. This is another guy with great bat to ball skills. That's why his slow start, I don't think, has anybody too worried in Milwaukee. Shot. Haiyu Lee basically playing shortstop in this at bat with the lefty. Takes care of Sal Frelick, and now 6 in a row retired by Kader Montero easily.
Boy, I mean, this is what they do, though. I mean, Frelick just threw his bat, just bat the barrel right at the ball, just trying to poke it through the infield somewhere. And because Haiyu Lee was shifted in the right spot, it went right to him. But it's not always going to go right to him. He just throwing his bat at him. I mean, that's what they do. Just keep moving that baseball.
Hamilton takes a pitch in the dirt. The Brewers have built their roster with shrewd trades. They're not afraid to trade stars. See Corbin Burns a couple of winters ago.
Freddie
Peralta. They truly shrewd trades with draft picks, and you can tell they target certain guys. Like this guy at the plate, David Hamilton with Boston. Didn't do a whole lot of hitting, but what they do is they say, all right, you've got skills that we like. A, speed. We can bring you off the bench and pinch run. Also a really good defender. And if you don't hit a whole lot, and David Hamilton doesn't, you're going to be a valuable piece for us. But there are several examples of that. Luis Rengifo is another example. Picked him up. Change up for a strike in a trade in the offseason. Catcher William Contreras picked up in a trade with Atlanta. High in the air, softly to left. McGonigal will give way to Riley Green. That's a really good couple of innings for Kader Montero. Tigers have some work to do. They're down 3.
Yeah, this is Kyle Harrison and how he's been tough on the right-handed hitters, throwing that four-seam fastball at the top of the strike zone, about 95 miles an hour. And then he'll drop in that changeup once he's ahead. Twice to Dylan Dingler, setting it up with that four-seam fastball, then drops in that changeup. So doing a good job at the top of the strike zone and then just mixing in just enough. But we'll see if he can continue to throw strikes with those secondary pitches.
Because right now you can go up and basically say, all right, throw one of those secondary pitches for a strike one, because he's been in a very predictable pattern. 11 of the first 12 batters saw a first pitch fastball, four-seam fastball. And then the next 3 have seen a secondary pitch. So
yeah.
Riley Green took the first pitch because it wasn't a fastball, and now he's behind 1 and 2. High and tight. does feel like if Tigers can lay off that high fastball, as Riley said this spring, it's like, hey, we're always going to swing at the high fastball. It's just a matter of how disciplined can we be, and can you foul off maybe the occasional 2-strike high fastball to extend the at-bat. Riley's done a very good job of that early in 2026. Lays that off that one. That was the pitch that was, let's face it, trouble for him. The high fastball, the curveball down, led to a lot of swing and miss. He has cut his strikeouts sharply so far. And it leads to things like that, Dan. Fell behind 1-2, laid off some pitches out of the strike zone. Draws a leadoff walk here in the 4th. Well, journey to Comerica Park coming up this Monday, May the 4th. Not this Monday, but coming up May the 4th. Epic Star Wars night. Detroit Tigers prepare for battle against the Red Sox. Red Sox are back in town in a Monday night clash that will echo across the galaxy. It says so right here. This is the showdown you don't want to miss. Pitch in the dirt, Riley Green. Read that down to second base. Go to tigers.com/tickets to learn more. May the 4th be with you.
That was just a changeup that just got through the 5-hole there of William Contreras. Then Riley read it good and gets himself into scoring position. Need to pick him up.
2-0 on Torg. 2 base runners in the second with 1 out. 2 base runners in the third with 2 outs. What did you say Sparky Anderson told you? How many do you get?
Yep, you can work out a 2. Got a 2 jams, but you're not getting out of that third one.
And you said that was a huge motivator to you.
Like,
because you want to stay in the game.
Yeah, like I can't get into that. You expect to get out of a couple of them, but all right, if it's in the 4th or 5th, and you want to get that win, don't get into another one.
3-1 on Torg. Singled his first time up. Good at bat. Took a pitch away, fastball away, and drilled it right up the middle. Sharp single. Rang is further up the middle. The Gold Glove second baseman. That same ball will have to be hit a little more to the left field side of second base to get into center field with this alignment. Just a good defensive team up the middle, as you have to be if you do what the Brewers do. The run prevention so strong. Fastball up and away. They're starting to lay off that pitch, Dan.
Yes, they are. There's a bunch of good at-bats in a row. Kyle Harrison starting to spray the ball a little bit too. Not quite as sharp. You can get them to chase a little bit if you're going to be in that vicinity, but now you're kind of all over the place, and Tigers are starting to recognize the pattern.
Yep.
And they're just starting to lay off that. Going to have to bring it down a little bit, and How You Leo might be just sitting on one of those.
That's the pitch that got him last time up. I thought for sure he would lay off that pitch.
That's the one. If you can get him to bring it down, you got a shot.
I would just keep pounding him up. Maybe show him a changeup down. And Anderson, it's a good deep bullpen up, warming for the Brewers. Base hit into left field. Riley Green will be held at third. Perkins up with the ball quickly. A bullet off the bat of How You Lee. Bases loaded, nobody out on the 4th.
Yeah, look at where this pitch is too. He's getting those 4-seam fastballs by him, but not down at the bottom. Look at where this one is, right down the middle, but at the lower rung. And How You Lee was sitting on it and hammers it into left. Tigers are in business. You got to show them that you can throw something else other than a fastball for a strike. And right now, Kyle Harrison is not able to throw those secondary pitches.
Pitch count climbing and Pat Murphy coming out. Anderson warming up. This will be the end of the night for Kyle Harrison. Tigers have a big threat brewing. Bases loaded, none out, down 3. Outside windows pitching change brings Grant Anderson into the game. Off to a good start after his first full season in the major leagues with Milwaukee last year. Terrific year. walks are a little bit on the high side. You'll see that with some of the Brewers bullpen arms. Heck, we're seeing it league wide. But again, this is a deep, talented bullpen.
You know, Dan, you always talk about this, and Grant Anderson last pitched on Sunday, and he stranded 2 inherited runners in the inning that he pitched, so it's probably one of the reasons he's in there.
Soft ground ball to short. That will be 2. Gets a lot of ground ball outs. He throws 1 pitch and gets 2 outs. Green scores. Tigers are on the scoreboard, but what a big first pitch to get 2 outs.
Very tough to strand all those runners, but that's exactly, if you're Pat Murphy, what you want to do is get that. You'll trade that double play for that run anytime, and gonna go right early in the ball game.
Jones swapped out for Kerry Carpenter. His first full year in the major leagues. Granted, since 3rd year overall, but last year was his first year where he logged almost 70 innings, and now Contreras wants to go out to have a word with him. He was tough on lefties. He was tough on righties impressively, both hitting .220 with no power, just a higher walk rate, much higher walk rate against lefties. Kerry Carpenter, one of the more impressive home runs of the year, given that he got it through the cold air at Fenway Park, the deepest right field in all of baseball.
He's got those crazy numbers at Fenway, too.
Other home runs had gone to left field, hadn't they?
Yeah, up in that net. When there was a net, or
when
over
there
the
was a
seats.
net. Yeah, I think he hit it over the seats.
No, the seats, yeah. I always think of the net, yeah.
2 types of fastballs and a slider for this righty. Whoa, what a quick glove hand for Contreras. My goodness, that ball should have gone to the backstop.
I mean, you're not expecting it up there.
Oh, man.
Sitting on the outside part of the plate.
Wow.
There's no way you're thinking about that. My goodness.
Another guy with almost a sidearm delivery. And he's got that low vertical approach angle. Sweeper away. The good hitters count for Kerry Carpenter. Pinch hitting for Jahmai Jones. Tigers have picked up a run. That's a big add-on run in this so far. 1-run 4th inning. Carpenter can bring home Spencer Torkelson. High in the air. That will slice foul. Deep down the left field line. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Yeah, you just think about this at bat and how tough an at bat it would be for Jahmai Jones with that dropping down, that sidearm angle, and with that breaking ball that's coming in right to Kerry.
2-2. Good take. Walk rate approaching 4 last year. Walk rate, well, 6 walks, only 11 innings so far, but a few more walks than normal for Anderson. The 3-2. Popped up. Will the wind take it out of play? It will. Safely. Let's take a look at Gleyber Torres, who's waiting on deck. Sponsored by C&L Ward. Gleyber's trying to put together some good at-bats. Perfect guy at the top of your lineup. He's been hit by a pitch, grounded out today. Carpenter trying to get another run on the board for the Tigers. Sweeper gets him. Tigers settle for 1. They load him up without anybody out. The double play ball. Anderson comes to the rescue.
It is the first bark in the park of this season. I don't think anybody's going to argue that dog is man's best friend. However, guys, did you know that the Milwaukee Brewers have their own best friend named Bobby Jr.? Okay?
All
So
right.
it's a tortoise that Brewers manager Pat Murphy unveiled during their series with the Royals a couple weeks ago. So he brought this tortoise out during an interview with Apple sideline reporter Tricia Whitaker, and it's named Bobby Jr. after Bobby Witt Jr. because Murph and Bobby Sr. were such good buddies. Well, Bobby Jr. now has his own Instagram page. He hasn't been traveling with the club. In fact, they left him in Kansas City, and he's currently being taken care of by one of the clubhouse attendants' moms.
Would they forget him?
So, no. You just can't travel with the tortoise like that. So here's the deal. So the mom launched the Facebook page, and then Tricia Whitaker has reached out to the woman because she feels bad because it's basically a lifelong commitment because this Bobby Jr. could theoretically live to 100 years old.
Or more.
Or more. Who's counting? So Tricia's trying to get the Milwaukee County Zoo to adopt the tortoise and maybe put a plaque up, to commemorate this bit of sports history.
Yeah, if you adopt it, you can't just leave it in Kansas City.
You can't. The guys loved it. I heard all the players loved it. So we're taking it with us, Skip. But you can't travel with the tortoise.
Can we do a little GoFundMe for Bobby Jr.?
I bet you could, to be honest with you.
We gotta. That's awesome.
We gotta
I
help
love it.
out. Yeah.
Absolutely love it.
No, it's a beautiful story.
Good changeup. That's a good sequence right there.
Again, establishing that fastball, but Cater is really locked in here these last 3 innings. After giving up those 3 innings, kind of unfortunately has just settled right in and just said, yep, I'm going to take the bull by the horns and just keep going. I trust my stuff. It's good enough.
Drew Anderson warming. Foul out of play. Pitch count climbing toward 80. Now it's to Jesus. That's right. I was looking at my Quinn Anderson card. To Jesus. Been terrific this year. Line to left. Riley Green will make the catch on the sinking line drive off the bat of Bryce Terang on an 0-1. And now a message from Rally House.
The season starts at Rally House. From jerseys and hats to tumblers for game day, it's where outrageous selection meets every fan's style.
Two outs and leave it up to William Contreras. We talked about what a tough out his brother Wilson was this weekend. This guy's a tough out too. That one's deep. But Matt Vierling will go back and make the catch. 3 pitches to get the last 2 outs. Cater Montero's retired 10 in a row. Tigers bat bottom of the 5th inning. On the Bet365 scoreboard, Brewers 3-1 lead as the Tigers come to bat in the 5th inning. Bark in the park tonight. There's Petey.
There
we were
he
talking
is.
about him earlier. He's been here before.
It's last year with his little uniform on there.
Is he a good boy?
Oh, look at
Who's
him.
a good boy?
But I got him on my socks. See? He's here in spirit. He'll
Yeah, we got upside down Petey here. Let's get right side up Petey.
yeah, he'll be back. He'll be back in a future Bark in the Park here. There's 5 of them, so we'll make sure.
Got to get Wally and Finn down here. And a collision between the middle infielders. 2 really good middle infielders. The Gold Glover Terang collides with Hamilton. And the Tigers get a break to start the 5th.
Just another good way. Just, I got it, you take it. And just Hamilton looks like he just calls off Terang there right at the last second. But just passing right in front of him. Very difficult play. Lost that side of it. Base hit for Glaber to get this started.
That's a break.
Sure is.
And Anderson came on to work out of a bases loaded, none out jam last inning. Kevin McGonigal swings and fouls it out of play, and Dan's Sparky Anderson rule came true. You can work out of 2 jams, but when you get in the 3rd, your day's probably going to come to an end, and it did. The Tigers got Kyle Harrison out. Ashby now warming in the Brewers bullpen. McGonigal with a double his last time up. Changeup pulled in, makes it 1-1.
And you knew that's why Pat Murphy's always manager of the year too. Just he could see it, knew that Harrison wasn't going to get through that inning, and knew that he had to go to the bullpen. And Anderson came in and got that big double play.
McGonigal pops it up and safely into the seats behind the Tigers dugout. Ground ball, sharp double down the right field line. Again, this righty with a almost sidearm delivery. You always think, man, the opposite side platoon lefties must get a good look at him. They just don't. Shuts down righties and lefties equally well. The only difference, the walks much higher to lefties. Getting a lot of ground ball outs so far this year. His ground ball rate has gone way up in 11 innings of work. Soft line drive first time up for McGonigal, landed in the glove of Jake Bauers at first, and the ground ball sharp double down the right field line. Bauers holding with Gleyber Torres at first, the 2-2. Popped up. Frelick will come in a little bit more when pushing it down, and he will make the catch at very shallow right center. Got big arms at the back end of the bullpen. Pretty nice luxury when you can bring in this guy in the 4th inning of a game. Ask for a couple of innings. Generally, he doesn't work multiple innings often. 69 games, 69 innings last year. Tries for the swing back action on the sinker away. Doesn't get it. Ball 1. Matt with a fly ball to right and a walk. Outfield plays him to go the opposite way. Everybody shifts to the right just a little bit because of Matt's approach to hitting, always letting the ball travel, loving working the ball the other way. See the center fielder Mitchell shaded way to right center against a very good outfield from Perkins to Mitchell to Frelick in right. Softly to the left side. Rengifo to Terang, and Terang with a terrific turn at second. 5-4-3 inning ending double play.
Yeah, just wonder how this last at bat went to Matt Vierling. Starts him off with the sinker outside, sweeper outside, go 2-0. Now sinker inside after getting Matt Vierling looking out over the plate, then busts him in, busts the bat, and gets them to roll over right to Rengifo, and they turn that 5-4-3 double play to get out of that inning. Just those, that's that sequencing that they do. They just get you, tease you out over the plate, and think that's how you're going to go after you, and then they bust you inside.
Jake Bauers showing surprising power early this season. 5 home runs in 67 at-bats coming in. He had 7 all of last year and 180 at-bats. And with the injuries, Pat Murphy says, well, you know what? We'll just put you in the middle of the order. 1-0 changeup for a called strike. 7 men to the plate, 3 runs for the Brewers. Infield single, walk, ground ball single, bunt single, broken bat single. That was the rally. It was a long inning, stressful inning. Now he's retired 10 in a row. Pitch count at 82. The high for him this year has been 83. This is the 3rd trip through the order. So look at the usage. This is a good creative game call by Dylan Dingler, mixing things up. Fewer fastballs, a few more secondary pitches. Sharply to first. Ooh. But he got him to beat it in the ground by home plate. Dan, it's just kind of a feeling more than anything. Not like I've done a deep dive on this, but it just feels like watching the performances that we're watching. This is now 12 straight starts of really good starts. The game calling from Tigers catchers, Dingler and Jake Rogers, it just seems, I don't know, really creative. They're mixing things up. I know that was a point of emphasis for several pitchers, kind of becoming more unpredictable. But it just feels like we're seeing some really creative sequencing and game calling.
Well, and AJ was talking about that man right there, Dylan Dingler, how it is still so much on his plate on game planning for the opponent, especially an opponent that you only see once a year. But just that graphic that was just played there, I mean, it just makes me think back to, boy, look at that. Establish the fastball. And that's first couple of times through, 61%. Establish that fastball, and then, go to the other stuff, the breaking stuff. And that's exactly how they went about today's game. Until they prove otherwise, stay with it.
The 0-2. Slider was ball out of hand for Gary Sanchez, who's popped out and grounded out. Nice pickup for less than $2 million on the free agent market. Mostly DH first base. He still catches occasionally. Still has a big arm behind home plate.
He does.
The 1-2. Got him. Sharp, late breaking, 86-mile-an-hour slider.
Yeah, that one looked like a little bit smaller, but again, just getting ahead. Getting ahead, that's the biggest thing, and they're going to swing and miss at that slider.
Keder Montero finishes the night. 12 in a row. Acknowledges the crowd. Terrific outing.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Detroit Tigers and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Detroit Tigers.
And Manuel De Jesus takes over on the mound for the Tigers. Lefty has only pitched 1 inning since almost 2 weeks ago, the 8th of April. Like the fastball, like the changeup, Dan.
Yeah, he's definitely has that starter arsenal. Four seam, changeup, cutter, sinker, occasional slider, but he's not afraid to use any of those pitches to either side. Still gets a lot of strikeouts so far this year. 8 strikeouts in 6 2/3 innings.
Just feels like throwing with more and more confidence. He had a couple of outings where he gave up some runs, but strike throwing's been a little bit better. Trying to get him longer outings so we can keep that 4-pitch mix sharp. Cutter wipes out Garrett Mitchell. 3 pitches, job done. Tigers bat him the 6th, down 2.
Dylan Dingler coming to the plate. You know, he has more barrels per plate appearances this season, guys, ahead of Aaron Judge and Shohei Ohtani. Obviously leads the team in home runs with 5. Walk numbers are up as well. A.J. Hinch just talked about the discipline and plan he has. Here's the Bet365 odds update. The over-under for Dingler here tonight. Feels like Dylan has found his routine. Approaches each at bat with professionalism, loves how simple he keeps it and what he's trying to do, and then what he's looking for. You see, over/under on hits here tonight. Dingler looking for his first hit here tonight. And to quote A.J. Hinch, Dan, says barrels are always better for hitters. If you can find a barrel, and he's finding a lot of them, success follows. See if you can find one right here.
Yeah, the barrel rate can be kind of problematic. It's like, how much of a story does it tell? And yet you look at that leaderboard. You just mentioned this year's leaderboard, Johnny. Look at the leaderboard last year. Barrel rate leaders, and these are generally the power hitters. But the leaderboard, do you like this leaderboard? Judge, Ohtani, Schwarber, Raleigh, Alonso, Kurtz, Soto. Yeah, that's a pretty good list. Well, Riley Green was 11th last year. And so it can tell a story. It's not a be-all, end-all. But you know what? That top 10 list, and this is the top 5 this year, those are pretty good hitters. Dylan Dingler has moved himself from being a guy who's hitting 6th or 7th most days, maybe 8th, to the heart of the order. And it's been a minute since we've seen a Tiger catcher occupy a spot in the middle of the order. It's fun to see.
It is.
Struck out twice today against the starter. This is Trevor McGill on the mound. He was the closer to start the year. Remember, Devin Williams traded away in the offseason. And then he had a couple of bad outings, and now he's being used earlier in the game. Although Pat Murphy, I think, does what A.J. Hinch does. If he needs a certain guy who might be his closer earlier in the game to face a certain pocket, he's going to do that.
Yeah, he picked up his 4th save on Friday last time he pitched.
High in the air to right, not deep. Frelick will come in some more. Man, the wind is really knocking some balls down right now. And now a message from Figer Law.
If you've been injured in an auto accident, make Figer Law your first call. Figer Law. All we do is win.
Breeze blowing from right to left all night long. The 3 flags we check on the David Whitney building, which is deep right, has been indicating a stiff breeze right to left. Then in front of the Penobscot building, there's another one. And then in the ballpark, flagpole in the visiting bullpen. Here's a win today from StatCast. And you can see, I mean, look at how it comes in and swirls. I mean, you go up layer by layer. I love that look because it tells you what outfielders are dealing with, and it tells you why some batted balls get a boost and some do not. That is such a good graphic because this ballpark set below street level by about 20 feet or more. The ball has always, the wind has always come in and swirled down low to the ground. Riley pops it up shallow left field. Hamilton will make the catch in front of Luis Rengifo. Riley Green pops out. Single and a walk for Riley in his first 2 at-bats. 2 up, 2 down. Trevor McGill has a really good arm. He has been a big, important piece for manager Pat Murphy last couple of years. ERA 250, a little above that the year before. Low walks, high strikeouts, tough to hit. He's got that thing that you like in a late inning reliever. He's not going to give up extra base hits. Torkelson takes strike 1. Opponents last year hit barely 200 with no power. Fastball up. Single and a walk for Torkelson tonight. Again, I love that first at-bat based on what we talked about in Boston. Last 2 at-bats going to right field. Single, walk, still looking for that first home run. Gotta be frustrating. Took a shot right there. Couldn't find the fastball.
Yeah, you just every day coming to the ballpark thinking about it. You know, is today
you can't
the day?
help it.
You know, yeah.
He's hit 30 home runs twice. Before the weekend in Boston, again, it was a tough weekend, but he hasn't had a lot of success there. He had reached, it's worth repeating, 21 times in his previous 40 plate appearances. 11 walks, 9 hits, 1 hit by pitch. Seeing the ball well, he's hitting the ball hard. Knuckle curve gets him here. That's a good inning for Trevor McGill. A 1-2-3-6. Tigers down 2. Tigers baseball on Detroit SportsNet is brought to you by Steel. Find your local Steel dealer at steelusa.com. And by Wallside Windows, local and family owned, celebrating 82 years as Michigan's leader in replacement windows. You just gotta love Park in the Park. What a great shot. First pitch strike from De Jesus to Luis Rengifo. We've only seen him in an Angels uniform. Picked up in a trade this offseason for the Brewers. Swings and pops it foul out of play. We talked about changeup, fastball, but it's really a 4-pitch mix, isn't it, Dan? But it just the changeup and the fastball. It feels like some nights he could use just those 2 pitches and get by.
Yeah, it's just with that pitch mix, the starter mentality, and that's what makes him so tough. And he can give you some length. You've got, Seabold that maybe can give you some length, but you got Drew Anderson, Herder, De Jesus. You've got 4 guys down there that can pitch multiple innings. But De Jesus with that starter mentality, and he's stretched out, he can give you easy multiple innings.
Fly ball to right is deep, but tracked down nicely by Matt Vierling out of the warning track. Tiger pitchers have now retired 14 in a row, going back to the 2-run single from Bryce Terang in the second that capped the 3-run second inning. Peter Montero made a very good start tonight. I asked Emmanuel DeJesus this spring. He had options, right? What attracted you to the Tigers? He didn't hesitate. He's like, Tarek Skubal. I said, what did you hope to learn? And he goes, how to throw a changeup better. And he said he really just helped him throw it with conviction. And who better to learn about throwing a changeup with conviction than that guy, who's made his changeup arguably the best pitch in the game. That one's trouble. And Vierling will haul it in.
Here's our Comerica Bank game summary. And Cater Montero, after that 1 inning, boy, did he pitch well. And another strong outing from Cater. Established the fastball early in the game. The sinker, 4-seamer. Once he had that all established, he went to the breaking stuff, the good changeup, the slider curveball combination. This is just the way that Cater Montero has come out in the early going in the 4 starts that he's made since his recall. Another strong effort.
Retired 12 in a row to end his day in a 5 2/3 inning start. Terrific.
And could have kept going. It was just, hey, we got to keep it right here. We don't want to take a chance with Garrett Mitchell. And that's why DeJesus came in.
Shot into right field. A couple of hard hit balls the last 2 batters. David Hamilton rips a single into right. That ends a streak of 15 in a row, retired. Going back to the second inning.
Yeah, that's just how crazy this game is, right? Just that first hit since the second inning, and they just bunched them all together with a little bit of fortunate breaks, and that's the difference right now, the 2-run difference.
2 ground balls, 1 a bunt single, 1 a routine ground ball, were hits, didn't leave the infield. 1 was just a routine ground ball that found the right spot in between Torkelson and Torres. And then the 4th single of the inning was an absolute shattered bat. Single into right that scored 2. Changeup floats high.
You know, the other thing, Dan, that he told me was just pitching in the Venezuelan Winter League. And when you go on the road, he says it's tough to pitch in a road game in that league because they are all over you. and if you can handle
handle that.
Yes, if you can handle a visiting ballpark for going in and pitching there, you can pitch anywhere and nothing is going to phase you. All the pressure in a big league game, he says, oh man, when you're pitching in a visiting ballpark in Venezuela, it's like nothing you've ever been a part of.
Can only imagine. It gets loud. Caribbean World Series, Dominican Republic. Tigers got to experience that. WBC exhibition games. I love it. I love watching games with the crowd's just into it. Bobby Scales has talked about his time in Japan, and it's just loud the whole game.
But they all, the singing and
the singing, the bands.
It's just an event. Yeah.
It's an event.
Yeah.
And it doesn't stop the entire game. Big 3-1. Up and away. Just the second walk of the game. Team that knows how to draw walks. It's a guy you do not want to walk. Bryce Terang steps to the plate. These are his at-bats against Cater Montero. Saw 5 pitches in his first at-bat and then was very aggressive the next 2.
Yeah,
Single.
You got to get out of this. Get out of this.
Perfect cutter to start the at-bat. Fly ball to right, deeper, harder line drive out to right to start the inning. Now a line drive single. Unfortunate walk. The guy's been struggling, Blake Perkins. Terang's a tough out. And, oh man. Tigers had Hamilton picked off between second and third.
Well, you hope that doesn't come back to haunt you. I mean, it did yesterday in yesterday's game at Fenway. Pitcher just throwing the ball away. Again, you just probably had that little bit more time. You
run at him a little more.
Run at him maybe just a little bit more, make him commit. And then it's just a little dart flip over there.
And Terang is going to make him pay. Soft single, a little bobble by Riley Green, didn't matter. Perkins over to third. Chances are, truly, with Hamilton's speed, that would have scored him from second.
With 2 outs, he's going to be off on that, and it's just there in no man's land. But I mean, Bryce Terang, look at this. He just flips it out there. Not a heavy swing, right off the end of the bat. Just
tough out.
He is. I mean, takes a good pitch from De Jesus, and then just flips that bat right off the ending. It's like a little wand, just shooting it out there.
Really, you go back to that Perkins walk, Dan. It's a guy who'd been 4 for 34 this year.
Well, like you had indicated, though, those first couple of swings, Rengifo hit the ball good, Frelick hit the ball good. That on another night, that one of those could be in the seats.
The second one goes out.
Yeah. And then Hamilton, he hit his ball good, and then the walk. But boy, you should be out of the inning, though.
Frustrating when it's your own error.
Oh boy, is it!
You got to put it behind you, but you're kicking yourself inside. Contreras 0 for 3 tonight. His older brother Wilson, they're similar hitters. Good bat to ball skills with some power.
But the job that De Jesus was doing in holding the runners, and because he had them nailed, given those various looks and everything, they were trying to take advantage of it, and he wasn't having anything of it. Stayed nice and calm and just had them dead to rights.
That's going to bring home another run. Riley Green will field it on a couple of hops. Good swings all inning long now. That's 4 good swings. 4-run lead for the Brewers.
Yeah, that cutter that just stays off the plate out there, but again, these guys just know how to get that barrel of the bat to it. That one shot out in the left center.
Two big runs. Brewers go first to third. Again, they've got great team speed. Terrific base stealing team. They don't necessarily run the bases as aggressively as, say, the Tigers do and have for the last 2 years. Jake Bauer takes ball 1. Bowers rarely faces lefties. Has always struggled against them. This should be advantage Emmanuel De Jesus. Brewers 4 straight have reached after the first 2 made outs to right field. Soft ground ball fouled on the first base line. Guy who's always struggled with a swing and miss. See if De Jesus can put him away. Low 1-2. Hard, but right to Torres at second base. A little flip to McGonigal for the force on Contreras. Heavy damage with 2 outs. 4 straight reach, 2 runs. 7th inning stretch brought to you by Figer Law. Coming to Comerica Park this season. It's $5 Fridays. Friday, May the 1st, Tigers take on the Texas Rangers. 16-ounce beers will be $5 from gates open to the end of the third inning. It's a deal not worth missing. First pitch at 6:40. Go to tigers.com/Friday to learn more. One of 3 lefties in the bullpen, Aaron Ashby, takes over on the mound for the Brewers. As we said, it's a deep, talented bullpen. Pat Murphy has a lot of options to protect leads late.
Now you see Ashby, 14 innings already. The last pitched on Thursday and picked up his 5th win. So
yeah, he's got 5 wins already.
5 wins. Go after those right-handers with sinker, curveball, changeup.
97 from the left side.
Ooh, that's not bad, is it?
McGill just came in firing 97 from the right side.
Ooh, boy.
Curveball, don't see many that good. I mean, you talk about some bite. Don't see many that good in the minor leagues. My goodness.
And that is, you can see one of those, a slow curveball, but that's a hard curveball. That had a lot of spin on it. It starts over Hao-Yu Lee's head and then just pulled right down into the strike zone.
Talk about a 12-6. Look that up. And the definition is that pitch that we just saw. It's one of the better ones I've seen.
Man.
...107 innings, mostly as a starter in 2022. Injury wiped out 2023. Curveball away. Go back to that curveball.
Well, just after the fastball. Look at, he's throwing that one uphill. He's throwing it uphill, and then it just, gravity and that spin just pulls it right back down.
Ooh, the curveball low. He laid off. Good ability to check your swing. Yeah, you talk about hitters can see the curveball that pops out of hand. It doesn't matter if you see that curveball popping out of his hand. Nothing you can do with it.
That would seem to be, yeah, you could see it, like you said, go up first, popping. But man, that just seemed like it had some big time break to it.
.98, but in the dirt. 67 innings of work last year, an ERA just over 2 for this lefty. Walk rate reasonable at 3 with a strikeout rate of 10 per 9. That's 76 strikeouts in those 67 innings. And as Dan said, off to a good start so far. That is a terrific at-bat for Hao-Yu Lee. A challenge by Contreras.
The catcher is starting to call a ball.
This challenge is presented by Figer Law. Looked like a good take. Let's see. It was.
They're out of challenges now.
Fell behind to 0-2, and the rookie works him for a walk. Nicely done.
Sometimes it's just you get a little carried away and you try to strike a hitter out instead of just getting them out. Try to make too perfect of a pitch.
Sinker misses low and in. Javi Baez can hit a fastball. Remains vulnerable, we know, to a slider, but we have seen him put together some really good at-bats. Rifled the Aroldis Chapman fastball into right field in Boston. Beauty of a curveball to make it 1-1.
Yeah, that's that big difference, is that breaking ball coming into Javi instead of going away.
Then you compare that high fastball off of it. Or go down with a sinker at 99. Wow.
Yeah, you just think Javi is just sitting fastball.
Sunk out of sight. That's not fair.
No.
That sequence, devastating. Wow.
Yeah, that's really good, nasty stuff. And coming in and throwing that changeup down and away. after he just sped you up at 98, 99.
Curveball, sinker, change.
And then that nasty curveball. That's a tough assignment.
Tough assignment for any lefty, too. Kerry Carpenter came in as a pinch hitter in the 4th inning to face a righty, struck out in a 7-pitch at bat. Lefties hit 190 with no power. They had 16 hits, 14 singles off Aaron Ashby last year. Strong starting pitching, strong bullpen. It's kind of every year for the Brewers. The names may change, but the consistency of their run prevention remains the same.
Boy, Contreras
just jumps out of his hand.
Contreras had all kinds of trouble catching that ball. I mean, you know how hard it is to hit it if you're going to get kind of not crossed up, but just backhanding it and having a rough time catching a sinker on the outside part of the plate.
97, 98, and 99 on the sinker from this lefty. Tigers trying to start something with 1 out here in the 7th inning. Down by 4. Need base runners. Slider in the dirt gets Carpenter.
Yeah, you kind of see right now that that's exactly what happened with How You Lee. I mean, he got strikeouts of Baez, strikeout of Kerry Carpenter, and he was just trying to make too nasty of a pitch to How You Lee, and he did a nice job of laying off a couple of curveballs to coax that walk out of him.
1 for 2 for Glaber tonight. Has also been hit by a pitch, sinker low. Big moment in this game. Tigers had stranded 2 in the 2nd and 3rd innings, and then loaded the bases with nobody out on the 4th down 3. Grant Anderson came out of the bullpen. 1 pitch, got a double play ball, and a few pitches later was out of the inning. Tigers haven't really threatened. Well, they haven't threatened since. First of 3 with the 97-win Milwaukee Brewers. Every year they're putting together good teams. Made the playoffs 6 of the last 7 full seasons. Three, you know.
Well, you're going to, when they get some of that thunder back in their lineup too, you know, they're not going to be one-dimensional. They're going to be able to beat you in a lot of different ways. They're going to have the power threat sprinkled throughout that order. You're going to have guys that get on base and move the ball around, steal bases. They're going to be a handful again.
Yeah, they're missing. They got off to a great start, and then when Yelich got hurt, the offense is certainly quieted. They're still averaging 5 runs a game without Chourio and Yelich. You're right, when they get him back, and both, I don't think are going to be out much longer. Sinker strike, inside 3rd. It just looks like the Brewers have put together another team that's got all the elements.
And year after year, everybody says, well, is this the year that somebody else steps up and takes over the reign?
Former Tiger Akil Baddoo is also on that injured list.
You know, Priester was another one that you were talking about earlier about coming over here. Last year, they made that deal with Boston to bring him over, and he had a tremendous year.
In the dirt. Change up, and now things could get interesting. Kevin McGonigal steps to the plate. Pat Murphy's making his way to the mound. (23) pitches thrown. This is pitching coach Jim Henderson on his way to the mound. Certainly not going to take out Ashby with McGonigal coming up. McGonigal does more than just hang in there against lefties. He's put together good at-bats right from the start. Wandy Peralta in San Diego couldn't get him out on consecutive days. That's kind of set the tone. That's pretty good consistency.
Boy, I'd say so.
316
Look at that.
against left, 318 right.
And just the way he hangs in there, and he's already faced Aroldis Chapman. So this is kind of a carbon copy here, stuff-wise.
Angel Zerpa, another lefty getting loose. First pitch to McGonigal. Slider strike. Started at the right shoulder of McGonigal and dropped in there.
Boy, he doesn't give an inch, though. He
No,
just
didn't flinch. Perfect. Wow, those are two terrific pitches. My goodness. Slider that kind of backed up on him. And then a perfectly thrown sinker. Now battle mode for Kevin McGonigal. Check swing, didn't go.
Boy, you don't see this very often from Kevin McGonigal, where he gets caught in that kind of check swing mode. He sees the ball out of the hand so well that he usually is able to just keep that bat back. That'll tell you how good the stuff is from Ashby.
Pops it up. Hamilton, wow, and Hefo made that an adventure. But he makes the catch. A couple of walks, but no more. Tigers down 4 after 7. Tigers baseball on Detroit SportsNet is presented by your Metro Detroit Buick GMC dealers and by Figer Law. All we do is win. All these guys do is wag their tail, have a good time, get some good sniffs. Park in the Park, one of 5 this year. I think we should introduce Wally and Finn to Petey.
You gotta get him out here. You do. We can arrange that. It's I'd be surprised. Rory'd have a great time.
Oh, so these are my daughter and her fiance's dogs. That's Maya Papaya, they call her. She's got the Max Scherzer eyes. And this is her rescue, Hazel May, who's just a sweetie. She was the most timid dog, and now her personality's been coming out big time over the last year.
Well, but how neat is that, the rescue?
Oh, I just,
just
warmed my heart.
Yep.
Looking for a dog. She hadn't had one, living in an apartment, and then found Hazel May. Changed the life for both. That one's hit hard. That's trouble. And base of the wall gets by Javi Baez, but it's Sanchez running still. He's going to be able to make it to third. Absolutely smoked it. Javi thought he could track it down. Rodney Green was running hard to back up, but the ball took a perfect bad carom.
Yeah, it hit right at the bottom of that wall and just took the perfect carom, just shot right back to center field where Javi was. But good for Riley Green getting over there just
goodness.
instead of just kind of halfway jogging over there.
2,973 at-bats. That's career triple number 4 for Gary Sanchez. And it takes a bounce like that for him to end up on third.
I was going to say, I don't know, Yankee Stadium, right? San Diego.
Not great. Baltimore, that's not great for triples.
No, Milwaukee.
Yeah.
Milwaukee could have, I don't know where he got him at, but bounce around out there, I guess, in the outfield, out there in right center, something like that.
4 career triples, my goodness. Boy, he's still got the power, doesn't he? Had the big years early with the Yankees, and then he became pretty pitchable for a while there and became kind of well-traveled. Minnesota to the Mets, to San Diego, Milwaukee, Baltimore, now back to Milwaukee. But boy, he can still launch a baseball. That one's hit hard. On a 1-2, Garrett Mitchell's going to end up on third. Back-to-back triples. That was left on left. Both balls hit hard.
Boy, that couple of different runners there. Looked like a track star that time.
Didn't
going
it?
around there. But boy, watch Mitchell get that fastball on the inside part of the plate, and then he's just picking them up and putting them down. Look at cutting that base nice and tight. Straight line almost in between bases, man.
Healthy after an injury-shortened season last year. He had a terrific 2024 season and limited at-bats with Milwaukee. Nice, and you've got a guy who's got a little bit of extra base power, who can fly. I can't get over the speed of this team. My goodness. Infield in tight. Tigers trying to hold this deficit at 5. This is Emmanuel De Jesus' game at this point. Nobody warming in the Tigers bullpen. He's got to find a way to finish this out. Bounce back after the back-to-back triples to start the 8th inning. Rengifo 0 for 2 with a walk in this game. Off the plate and in. Again, a guy who's not good to walk much, has solid bat-to-ball skills, better right-handed most years. Just struggled from both sides last year. We've seen him be a tough out for the Tigers in his years in the Angels organization.
He sure was. He could do a lot of things. Steal a base, switch hit. But you know what? These Tigers, they play all 27 outs. And I mean, AJ's just trying, he's got the infield in, trying to cut off this run. Got a couple of shots at him still.
That will sliding. Nope. Matt Vierling did not make the catch. Ball popped out of his glove. Either way, if he had made the catch, Mitchell was going to score. That'll be a little flare single for Rengifo. And the Brewers have opened up a 6-run lead.
Yeah, this one again, Rengifo put a charge into one the other way. You can see Matt Vierling playing way over there in right center. That one just drops right in front of him. Tries to come up quickly and make a throw home, then it just pops out of his glove.
Well, that's a stretch of 9 batters, Dan, starting with this guy at the plate.
Yeah.
Sal Frelick hit the ball hard first time he faced De Jesus. This is 9 batters where there have been 7 hard hit balls, starting with his line drive out to right field last inning.
And just talking about the strikeout ability of De Jesus too, and has not struck a batter out yet.
Now getting a little scatter shot with his fastball location. Connor Siebold getting loose in the Tigers bullpen. It's been a pleasant surprise. Put together some good outings. Slider looks like ball out of hand to these Milwaukee hitters.
Yeah.
At least that's how it feels.
Got really nothing to go to right now. He wants to try to go to that cutter, but you know they're hitting it.
Fastball, is that ball 4? It was ball 4.
So.
Throw went through. So nothing more than practice for Dingler, McGonigal. A walk to Frelick. 4 straight have reached to start the 8th. 4 straight reached after 2 outs in the 7th. So that's 8 of 9. How rare are consecutive triples? First time for the Brewers in 11 years.
I mean, triples in general are rare, let alone back-to-back.
This remains year in and year out, even with the fences brought in a few years ago. Line shot to third base, Matt Erickson. Boy, you don't see that very often.
Is that off?
Matt Erickson didn't even
off a shoe?
He didn't even flinch. He got steel-toed shoes.
Or, you know, He lifted it up and hit the bottom of
the
his
bottom?
shoe. It sounded like it.
Slider down and away, 1-2. Ball that way. Hard to tell, but
Yeah.
whatever it was, Matt Erickson's a tough guy. It's like, yeah, I'm fine. Softly to first base. Torkelson.
Let her go.
Oh, my goodness. Wow. Ground ball, that's got to be an out somewhere.
Yeah, I thought Torque was going to second.
Me too.
Yeah.
And they do not record an out on a routine ground ball. DeJesus late getting over, and he'll leave with the bases loaded. Here in the 8th, Tigers down 6. Connor Siebold takes over, and he inherits quite a jam. Well, Grant Anderson inherited a bases loaded jam earlier in the game. Got out of it with just 1 run scoring. See if Connor Siebold can wriggle out of this jam. 7-1 Brewers, bases loaded, nobody out. Connor Siebold has pitched very well so far, Dan, in 9 2/3.
Yeah, he has. He's gotten nicked for a run in each of the last 3 outings, but that one in Fenway, that was kind of a one where, you know, they're playing the runner behind, a defensive indifference, and then a base hit, scores the run, and then got nicked for a couple solo home runs. But he's shown some really good stuff. That 4-seam fastball, change-up slider.
He said when he reached back and found 93, 94 with his new mechanics, especially stronger lower half, he said that was uncharted territory. 93, 94, but he's been up to 96. Pitch hits Perkins. Slider at the back foot. Caught the back foot. Run scores 8-1 Milwaukee. Some of the early good indicators for Perkins. He's getting a good number of ground balls. I was like looking at the hard hit rate, Dan. What's the contact like? If I see good ground ball rate and soft contact, that's a really good combination. And his hard hit rates are very low. So when the ball's put in play, it's not being hit hard and generally on the ground. It's a test right here, and this guy, what a pain. He's the kind of guy you talk about that you hated to see as a pitcher, right at the top of the order.
That first guy, and he's got pop, and he can do a lot of things, and just a pain. There's no real way to go after him.
Change up away, quickly 2-1.
You know, he's going to draw his walks, controls the strike zone, uses the entire field. If you just come right after him, saying, okay, here, try to hit it, he's got the pop to hit it out of the ballpark.
Gets the called strike right there at the knees.
Yeah, if you've got good stuff and you're fooling them, and there's not the hard hit rate, you know, the soft contact, that's a good sign.
Terang fouls it out of play.
You're not fooling anybody.
Yeah,
they're hitting the ball hard right at people. It's eventually they're going to start finding some holes.
Not a lot of swing and miss in this bat. He's going to make it throw him a strike. Oh, and in. Bryce Terang is pretty fascinating. First year, 585 OPS. I mean, usually progress isn't linear. For him, it is. Next year, 660 OPS. 790 in his 3rd full year last year, and now over 1,000. And he's doing things like that, hitting it high in the air with something behind it. That will get a run home. And throw into second base. And that allowed Hamilton to scoot over to 3rd.
Boy, but you know, their Brewers are just never letting up off the gas pedal here. I mean, they're constantly looking for it to take that extra 90, and that's exactly what they did there. That throw went back, that throw went into second base, and He just realized it and just tagged up and just shot over the third.
Shot into left field. Boy, Contreras. I feel like we're watching his brother again. Wilson over the weekend just kept hitting the ball hard. William has hit the ball hard twice now, last 2 at-bats.
That just looked like a slider that just spun kind of right over the plate. And there's been a couple of hits that Contreras has had the last 2 at-bats that have been pitches out over that plate. Cutter, I believe it was, from De Jesus. That one, both right there on that outside, that outer third, but right around belt high.
Turang at second base, 5 runs in here in the 8th. Changeup floats up and away.
Kind of see that, just you drop your elbow and kind of push it a little bit. That's why it was up and away. Try to turn that over and pronate. Your elbow drops underneath it. It's just pushed.
Changeup misses, and it's now 2-1. 9th man to step to the plate. That's trouble. 2 hops to the wall in the left field corner. That will score 1. Perkins scores. And the Brewers having a lot of fun at the Tigers' expense.
They are. Another one just down that outside part of the plate. And see what the Brewers can do. They're a good, solid lineup. Just know what to do, where to hit the pitch, situational hitting.
10th batter, and Tigers are still looking for the 2nd out of the inning. Gary Sanchez started this inning a long time ago by absolutely crushing a ball over the head of Javi Baez's deepest left center. Off to a great start. Back with the Brewers. He was with them in 2024. You see some swing and miss with Connor Seabolt with that fastball up at 93.
Yeah, you see it, the bat head right underneath those fastballs. Got that extra little life to it.
Slider bounces up the home plate. Good block by Dylan Dingler.
There
Second and third, 1 out here in the 8th inning.
There it is. Just again, 11-1, and watch Dylan Dingler getting over there, making a perfect block, just kind of tossing it out in front of him. Keep it right out there in front to make a play.
Wow. That was a shot past Seabolt. That'll score a run. Torres gets Sanchez at first. Another hard hit ball. A 12-1 lead for Milwaukee. Eleventh man to bat, Garrett Mitchell, back-to-back triples with Sanchez, ignited this 7-run inning. Good fastball. Again, it's got some properties that make it play up at the top of the strike zone.
He's shown the good changeup too.
Tigers still looking for that mix. You've got the 5 that you knew kind of coming out of camp, and Jansen, Finnegan, Vest, Holton, Herder. And there have been some struggles for Anderson, De Jesus, and really not until today for Connor Seabolt. He's been quite good.
again, De Jesus did not strike out a batter.
Softly to second base. Gleyber Torres will flick it to get the speedy Garrett Mitchell. 11 men to the plate and heavy damage. 7 runs for the Brewers. Tigers bat in the 8th. 12-1 Milwaukee. Let's take a look at the upcoming schedule, brought to you by Bet365. More interleague play. It's to the point where you're wondering, wait, the Tigers are still in the American League, right? 7 of the first 10 series are against National League teams. In Cincinnati, Atlanta coming up, Dan, you got a Milwaukee team that was 12-9 coming in last place in the Central in the National League.
No let up in that schedule.
Right, and then Cincinnati, 15-8 start. Atlanta is 16-7. This will be a challenge. Cincinnati's been a road warrior this year. They're 9-2 on the road. Tigers are going to Cincinnati, where the Reds are 6-6. Boy, Atlanta's pitching the heck out of it right now. They're not giving up any runs.
And they lost Raisel Iglesias to the IL, which was a blow. But then they got Robert Suarez, so to step right in.
All side windows pitching change brings Jake Woodford onto the mound for Milwaukee. 1-1 soft ground ball to second base. Vierling bounces out on a 1-1 pitch to start the 8th inning. A couple of defensive changes. Joey Ortiz now in at shortstop. That moves the shortstop. David Hamilton over to third base. Seventh appearance of the year for Woodford. He's been pretty well traveled in recent years. Dylan Dingler takes a strike on the outside edge.
They got beat up a little bit on Saturday. Gave up 5 hits in an inning and a third. So start a rally right here. Opponents are hitting .342.
Wow. We said that with Watson the other day in Chicago, and you can still accomplish something by putting together good at-bats in a 12-1 game. You're not going to come from behind unless you have, miracle. I'm always up for that, but if you put pressure on that bullpen, make Pat Murphy maybe use a pitcher that he didn't want to use by just putting together some good at-bats.
I talk about it a lot too, is give them a finish.
Yeah.
Make them a little bit nervous, have some momentum going into tomorrow's game.
It truly does make a difference. We've seen it enough times to know that it can change the feeling going into the next day. But 11 hits in his last 5 1/3 innings over his last 3 outings for Woodford. Slicing drive deep down the right field line. Kind of like with Ryan Watson in Boston yesterday. He was just very hittable, and the Tigers made the Red Sox go to Aroldis Chapman in the 9th inning with a big lead.
And that's the thing about this ball club, is they just, and that was a perfect example yesterday.
Sinker low and away. 36 innings with Arizona last year. He gave up 45 hits. It's kind of a pitch to contact pitcher. It's just a hard way to make a living. It is. Walk rate at 3, a strikeout rate at 5.5. Doesn't mean you can't have success. Wow, Ortiz just into the game, and that ball jumped up on him. That's a pretty good shortstop. And you could tell he's like,
Yeah.
What happened?
You see all the dark area out there at shortstop where all the foot marks, the cleat marks are. That just looked like it hit right in there. Came right up on him, right up that thumb.
This infield is always in such perfect shape. Year after year, Bill James Handbook, when it was still in existence, would always have a ballpark factor, not just for the usual run scoring and home runs, doubles, triples, but also infield errors. And this ballpark always graded out right at the very top for the fewest infield errors because of the true bounces that you get. So what we just saw, very unusual. Shot will be scooped up. Wow, is that a nice play by Bryce Terang. All of his momentum going toward first. I would say the vast majority of second basemen just make the short toss and concede the runner at second.
You bet they do, and that's the last couple of innings. I mean, you can see this Milwaukee Brewer team, the way they play this game, they're not conceding anything. You know, they're taking the extra 90 any way they can. They're, you know, looking at creating some kind of action on the bases, running the bases hard, and then not giving up a run, not giving up that extra 90 and making that strong throw to second.
That's what run prevention's all about, right?
Man.
It's plays like that. You're helping your pitcher so that you know that you're not just conceding that 90 feet so that a single can score that guy from second. You're going to help out your pitcher by making sure it's a runner at first. Fine play. Cleveland has done that so well through the years. Not only manufacturing runs and making productive outs to advance base runners, but also preventing the same on the other side. That was Terry Francona's influence every year he was there. Now Cincinnati's seeing what that emphasis does. It's an emphasis on it. They work at it. And that's how you consistently every year prevent runs. Are among the league leaders in fewest runs allowed. That's how you get to the postseason on a regular basis.
That's just like a mindset, I think, the way they come to the ballpark expecting to play. I mean, they're playing hard from that first out to the last out. It doesn't matter what the score is. They're going to do everything the same as it's a 0-0 game.
Cutter gets torque. Woodford gets through the 8th. Big 7-run 8th inning broke this game open. Ahead of the 9th. Brewers by 11. Next giveaway of the season coming up Saturday, May the 2nd, when the Tigers take on the Texas Rangers. Be one of the first through the gates and you get a caricature crew neck presented by Comerica. It's a giveaway you don't want to miss. First pitch 7:15. Visit tigers.com/giveaways for more information. The guy with the second best ERA on the Tigers behind Tarek Skubal last year, Jake Rogers, takes the mound.
And you know Jake gets
crafty.
A little kick out of this. Wish he didn't have to. There's the one.
Eephus pitch.
That little knuckleball he throws.
And then he just tries to sneak the 75-mile-an-hour fastball. But the Eephus pitch is his pitch, isn't it, Dan?
It is. I think he does. He's got that little knuckler that he practices, too.
So is it a knuckle Eephus?
I think he throws a knuckler. There it is. That's the knuckler. Yeah.
First career strikeout for Jake Rogers. Keep that ball. You got to throw that ball out of play. How about the movement on that pitch?
How about Joey Ortiz? Joey Ortiz goes in the game. First at bat's Jake Rogers.
He made sure.
Oh, look at this.
Dylan Dingler makes the catch. 2 up, 2 down. All right, take us to the scouting report here, Dan.
Well, again, you know, he shows signs of, you know, the good fastball, backup slider, and then that knuckleball can create some trouble. What's so hard about this?
Mixes his pitches beautifully. Crowd, those who have stayed, something to cheer about here in the 9th inning. That's the Eephus. Feels like he's getting squeezed right now. And you got to stay on that pitch. That's a pretty good piece of hitting by David Hamilton. The Eephus floating up. I would love to see him try a true Eephus pitch, which back in the day, the Rip Sewell Eephus that Ted Williams hit into the right field seats at Tiger Stadium, upper deck, I believe, went about 21, 22 feet up in the air. It took amazing touch and feel to get that anywhere near the strike zone. This is Greg Jones pinch hitting. Shot up the middle and off the glove of Kevin McGonigal. Trickles into center field. That one kicked off the mound, and I think it was a little funny hop. McGonigal did the right thing, charged, went off the heel of his glove. We'll see what they call that. I think that's got to be an error. Tough hopper, not spin off the mound. Ephus pitch floats in at 53. His average Ephus is right around 51.
He's got a little extra on that fastball, though. He's mid to upper 70s. I mean, normally they just kind of lob it in there, but he's got a little bit on that.
Line drive into left. Riley Green, sliding grab. Nice job. Everybody on their feet for Jake Rogers. He works a scoreless ninth. Last shot for the Tigers coming up.
On a baseball diamond today.
And that's record a strikeout. Hey, we'll talk about that and everything else that happened in today's game, guys.
Jake Rogers, again, he had a 2.40 ERA last year. 1 run in 3 2/3. Now he's at 0 through 1 inning of work in 2026. Building off that 2025 season. Well, it's not the obvious ending that you want to a game, but it is nice in a blowout. You get a chance to share a smile with Jake Rogers. You can see the smile on A.J. Hinch's face as he came down the steps. Jake had a chance to smile a little bit and just talk, to guys like school about, hey, did you see that knuckleball?
How'd you hold that one, Jake? Show me your grip.
Have you thought about throwing a knuckleball? Can you imagine? Tarek Skubal throws a knuckleball?
I was thinking about, he's got to get Joey Ortiz to sign it.
I'm not sure Joey Ortiz would be in the mood.
I just remember Cody Clemens having to pitch in Anaheim, and he struck out Shohei Ohtani, and Ohtani signed the ball for him.
Oh my gosh, I've forgotten that.
What a big thrill for Cody Clemens to get in and strike out.
Now that's a guy who doesn't take himself too seriously,
right, Right.
That's
it
awesome.
He was smiling after the strikeout.
Oh my gosh. I'd forgotten
Yeah.
Cody Clemens struck out Shohei Ohtani. That's pretty much what you'd expect when those two match up. Colt Keith pinch hitting for Javi Baez. Woodford in his second inning of work. Cutter fouled out of play. Tigers got another good start from Cater Montero. Bullpen just couldn't hold the game. Tigers were down 3-1 when Montero left. Got away from the Tigers late. Tigers starting pitching has been tremendous over the last 12 starts now. And that even includes a kind of a rough outing for Jack Flaherty yesterday, but he did not give up an earned run. Casey Mize has been terrific this year, and he gets the start tomorrow. On a 1-2, line drive single to right for Colt Keith.
See, that's the thing right there, Dan, is sitting around all game, right?
Yep.
And then 12-1 ball game, and up underneath taking some swings and everything, and gets an at bat, shoots it into right field.
Kerry Carpenter came into the game as a pinch hitter in the 4th inning in a big situation.
And Colt's going to go into tomorrow's game after getting that base hit, just feeling real good about himself.
Yep.
Probably be hitting third tomorrow.
Carp can't find the cutter up and away. Wenzel Perez has grabbed a bat. Carp can reach or avoid the double play at a minimum. Wenzel will get in that bat. Wenzel has some of the oddest numbers that you will see. A little pop-up softly to third base. That's Hamilton under the outfield grass to make the catch. 2 outs. Evan Woodbury of MLive asked AJ about it today because Wenzel Perez is 1 for 27. He's put 23 balls in play, and he has a 0 batting average on balls in play because his only hit is a home run. That is not a ball in play, and that is some bad luck. to put the ball in play that much, only 3 strikeouts, and to have 0 hits on a ball in play. And AJ just said, I'm not going to overreact to an early handful of at-bats. He actually has hit the ball hard. You look at his hard hit rate, he's hit the ball hard. And I always like to remind people that Wenzel Perez had an 800 OPS heading into his final 14 games of the year. And it was a 6 for 54 finish that made those numbers look, well, less good than 800 OPS. But Dan, that was not a mirage, his production through mid-September.
No, it just seems that it's just trying to get him going. Spring training, it just wasn't the same.
Yeah.
That's why they wanted to reset him down in Toledo. You figure that home run might energize him and bring him back.
Mm-hmm.
But again, you just like that reaction. I'm not going to get overreacting about 20, 30 at-bats.
Yep.
I'm just going to let it work itself out. There you go.
Now he can go into tomorrow feeling a little bit better.
Bet.
So even if you don't rally and necessarily make Pat Murphy turn to another reliever, 2 guys are going to feel a whole lot better going into tomorrow, especially that guy standing at first.
Kevin McGonigal here. I mean, this is hard. You got 2 outs. You're just trying to put the finishing touches on this. Wenzel's reaction, like, yeah.
Finally, ball in play, hit.
And now make a mistake, and Kevin McGonigal reaches seats here. Just don't let it come easy to him.
That's right. McGonigal with a double tonight. Takes a pitch up and away. 21 starts. He's reached twice with a walk or a hit. Twice or more, 15 of those 21 games. He's reached at least twice. That's remarkable for a rookie. And this will be game number 16. Once again reaches with a couple of hits. And these fans who have stayed have something to cheer about in the 9th inning. They got to see Jake Rogers' first career strikeout. And now Kevin McGonigal drives in a run in the 9th.
Well, that's it. That's 2 outs and then just three base hits. And again, just taking every at-bat serious. Don't want to take a bad swing, get into any kind of bad habit. Continue to go up there and put a good swing on it.
Pat Murphy wants to get Woodford through this 9th inning, obviously. As Dan said, he's been pretty hittable of late. Matt Vierling's been swinging a hot bat. He's been squaring balls up. At least he did over the weekend in Boston. Hasn't gotten a whole lot of at-bats so far this year with the spate of righty starters. I really liked his swing in Boston. Hard contact. Seeing the ball well. Defensive indifference gets Kevin McGonigal down to second base.
Just see if Matt Vierling can't shoot something over to that right side. Played a couple more.
That's going to get down deep to center field. And Matt Vierling does play a couple of runs. 2-out double. The Tigers have scored 3.
Nice swing again. You're right. Look at how he uses his hands, just nice and relaxed, and then just use those hands to whip that barrel through. Whack. That ball looked like it knuckled out too. Hit it so hard it just was kind of knuckling as it went out into center field.
And now the Tigers have at least forced the Brewers to get some people moving in the bullpen.
Yeah, that's why they're
Hurry
out
up
there.
call.
Yep. Then hurry up and get loose.
Last thing that Pat Murphy wants to do is actually get somebody hot. So they're getting around standing around stretching. He's hoping that Woodford can get Dylan Dingler, but Tigers really like the offerings they're seeing right now. That's 4 line drives the last 5 batters.
It just starts with just keep that passing that baton, right? Keep that line moving. Cole Keith comes off the bench, pinch hits, boom, harmless little single. Uh-oh, they keep going.
Good discipline, laying off the cutter. Dingler looking for his first hit, 0 for 4 tonight. Not many 0-fers for this guy. That one caught, hit it on the line. Matos hauls it in. Tigers at least give fans something to cheer about. Good at-bats in the 9th inning. But the Brewers, with a lot of runs late, pull away from the Tigers to take game 1 for their 13th win of the year. Good at-bats in the 9th, but Tigers now will try to bounce back, even up this series tomorrow behind that right arm of Casey Mize.
Casey Mize was really good that last time out. We thought he was really good in Arizona. That might have been better in this game that he pitched at Fenway. So hopefully another strong one from Casey tomorrow, and Tigers get back on the winning track.
Another night game tomorrow here at Comerica Park. Right now, let's get ready for the post game. Send it down to Daniela and Andy after the break.
The heater was working.